This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL, everybody. It's Wednesday. We made it halfway through the week. It's April 15th. I'm Tori, the one and only host in the studio, but my fellow co-hosts are all safe and staying inside, and two of them are joining me right now. These two goofballs. It's Al and Lindsay in both like a cool denim. We're all in blue, shades of blue. I love it.
I like it. We're getting coordinated.
I feel like I look like I'm giving an interview from prison.
You do. You look like a lot like that. Your teeth are so
Tori,
white.
before we get started, really quickly, it's April 15th. I just want to say happy birthday to my incredible sister, Christina. You are the sweetest person I've ever met. You're my sister. I love you. Happy birthday. And today, no one's associating with taxes, so it's a really happy birthday for you. Your brother loves you.
That's amazing. I love that you just said to her, you're my sister. That's helpful information for Christina. It is tax day, as Al said, but don't worry. You have another 3 months to file your return. And for millions of Americans struggling during this pandemic, relief is on its way. The stimulus payments are being deposited into bank accounts as we speak. And if you want to find out where yours is, there's a tool the IRS has for you to help you track it down. So go to the irs.gov, remember .gov website, and click on coronavirus tax relief, okay? On that page, click on what you need to know about payments. Then you're going to see a big blue button, and it says Get My Payment, okay? You want to click on that, and you can track down your check and also make sure you are eligible. Now, if the IRS doesn't have your bank account information, chances are you'll be receiving a physical check. Remember those? Millennials don't know what that is. President Trump's signature will be printed on the checks in the memo line. And the Washington Post reports that the last-minute order to include that may delay the checks being sent out. The White House, though, is disputing those claims. So, what will Americans be buying with the money? Well, new evidence suggests the vast majority are buying groceries, paying heating and internet bills, and some is going to rent. Lindsay, do you think this is enough? Or do you think we need a rent, a mortgage freeze, or $2,000 a month every month? How do you feel about this?
Well, I looked into what some other countries are doing about some of the financial hits that we're all getting, and I think that people are doing much more than the United States, and that's not to bash us. It's just like other countries are covering 60% of salaries, 80% of salaries, and we're sending $1,200. So I don't think that's going to compensate for all things that people have. Obviously, the rent in most of America is around that price, so, you know, or a little bit less, but still, you know, it's going to be a lot to try to afford that all. So I hope that people are able to do a lot with this $1,200, but I do understand why helping out businesses would help people get back to work once we do, because if we start canceling out all small businesses up to big ones and nobody has a job when we're done, we'll be in an even worse position than just getting $1,200 and being done with that. Yeah,
we'll go all the way backwards. Al, is $1,200 enough? I mean, that's like buying an avocado in LA.
Well, you know, Tori, you know, everybody's looking at the numbers, and of course, everybody that's trying to balance their checkbook is looking at the numbers. But I think we're missing something here. We also have to remember that not being able to pay your bills isn't just a financial issue, it's about your personal dignity. And I think that we need to make sure that we take care of Americans from the neck up as well, and make sure they have their dignity, and making people that have never been opposed to working, never not tried to provide for their families, making sure that they can do that with some dignity. Whether it's $1,200 or $12,000, make sure that people feel dignified when you give them their money, and understand that we appreciate that we're not giving this to you because you're begging for a handout. It's because something happened that we couldn't anticipate, and we're sure that when you can work again, you will, as you always have.
That's well said, Al. I appreciate that, because that's something people they miss it. All the Democrats, though, are coming together to support Joe Biden for president. Today, Senator Elizabeth Warren officially endorsed him this morning. She posted a video to Twitter. Look at her cute little haircut. Yesterday, former President Barack Obama offered his formal endorsement, touting Biden's knowledge, experience, honesty, humility, and empathy. And of course, last week, Senator Bernie Sanders also threw his support behind the former VP. So now lot of people are wondering, all right, who is Joe Biden going to pick as his running mate? And some are saying, wow, you might have painted himself into a corner when he vowed to pick a female vice president, especially now that this guy, Governor Andrew Cuomo, has become such an admired figure during the pandemic. So DBL Nation, you're the host we never pay. We want to hear from you. Should Biden choose a female running mate? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Al, do you have an idea of who he should pick? I'm going to go to Al and then Lindsay and then give my pick. Al, do you have one you think would be great?
Well, I think Cuomo would be a good pick, and if he does have to go back on it, I mean, it's not like people who really, unfortunately, trust what politicians say anyway. But there are two women that I am absolutely platonically in love with, and that's Stacey Abrams down there in Atlanta. She is my spirit animal. And I also love Katie Porter out in California. A lot of her videos have gone viral. I believe she's in Orange County. She's a Democrat, and she won a traditionally Republican district. She is for the people. I would love to see an Abrams-Porter ticket. I'm going to close my eyes and dream.
Just dream. She's the whiteboard senator or congresswoman. If you haven't seen it, she's excellent. Linz, who would be your pick?
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
I think Biden has to pick a woman. If he goes back on what he said, this is not going to be something that people forget. Like, Al, I understand what you're saying, but if he goes with a man, people are going to be like, you're just a flat-out liar. But I would say he's probably going to go with Kamala or Elizabeth Warren. I think that they've both been campaigning for a long time alongside him, and in order not to ostracise them, maybe he'll bring them on board.
That's interesting. So right now, the viewers, it's almost like a 50-50. Should Biden choose a female running mate? I'm with Lindsay, especially after the Anita Hill issue. I think he has to pick a female. But I suggest one governor of Michigan, that woman from Michigan, Gretchen Whitmire. Whitmore, excuse me. She is beautiful. She's smart. She is somewhere you need, because Biden desperately needs Michigan. Remember, that's where Hillary Clinton kind of forgot to go. So I think this would be a great pick. So let us know what you think. We're right now 60.
Did the State of the Union response?
Yes, and I don't think it was that great, but she can work on it. She can work on it.
Okay.
One college professor had to put up with his teen son interrupting his Zoom lectures. The 19-year-old thought it would be fun to walk behind his father, carrying a surfboard and talking on the phone. Then he comes back in a cap and gown, waving at friends. Here he is as an explorer. Finally, his father gets his revenge and shoots his son with a Nerf gun, and he was clearly a ninja. Are bored kids a recipe for disaster or fun? I kind of think they're a recipe for fantastic things. Al, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know if I count as a bored kid, Tori, but you know,
you are.
I've been known to play dress up at home. I think I sent a picture to the group yesterday. I don't even know if we have it in our data bank, but if not, we'll post it another time. But yeah, you guys know if I'm at home, a romper's coming out, a ridiculous hat, and some sunglasses to follow. So yeah, I like to play dress up too. So
you are a big kid.
I can't judge.
Do you think bored kids make funny kids, Lindsay?
I really think it depends on what kind of parent you are. I think that I would have tons of fun with my kid, or, you know, if I was lucky enough to have one. But I think some parents are not here for it, and I think parents are realizing exactly how their kids act in school every day. They're getting a taste of their own medicine right now. So when the teacher complains, you know it ain't a lie anymore.
It's definitely true. The megaphone results clearly we had up there for should Joe Biden choose a female running mate. It ended with 66% said yes. So not as big as I thought. Interesting. But I agree with Linz. Let us know what you think on Facebook and YouTube. Al and Lindsay will chat with you denim warriors later. But first, we're talking with our favorite doc. Dr. Payal Kohli is back, and this time she's giving us grooming and hygiene tips that could make all the difference in quarantine. And later, a father-son team is putting together their ingenuity to the test and creating medical masks for healthcare workers on the front lines. It's so rad. We're chatting with them next. all about wearing blue and facts, not fear, of course, providing information to keep you and your loved ones safe. So our favorite doc is back, Dr. Pyle Coley. Oh, kiwi/lime green. Gorgeous. It's almost a dewy grass. I like it a lot. She is breaking down grooming and hygiene advice from brushing your teeth to painting your nails, because sometimes you got to go back to the basics to stay safe. So, doctor, there's a lot of valuable information to cover, so let's get started. Am I right? Here we go. How often should we be washing our hair?
So Tori, let's talk about hygiene, because when we're all stuck at home, it seems like it's not really necessary for us to be getting ready or grooming. We talk a lot about hand washing, but we don't talk about washing other things. So hair is so important, because look what my hair is doing right now. It's right next to my face, it's right next to my mouth, my nose, and it's sitting there. Something that's exposed all the time, and it's something that we don't think about, but actually traps a lot of respiratory droplets and dirt and particles when we're out and about. So what I say is you need to wash your hair every day that you go out, whether it's the supermarket or you're going out for a walk or any type of activity outside your house. But if you're not going out and you've been stuck inside all day, then you can probably go 2 to 3 days without washing. And when you're washing, make sure to lather up, get lots and lots of soap, and leave it on there for at least that 20 seconds, because that contact is really important to get those particles out. Now, having said that, the virus probably doesn't last on hair as long as it does on surfaces like skin, but it's still important to be cautious.
Okay, well, I'm glad we had a graphic of someone shampooing. That was helpful. What about washing our face? This is a good one.
Yep, so I wash my face twice a day, so once in the morning and once in the evening. And it actually seems like it may not even be enough, because remember, we wash our hands about 10 or 20 times a day. But for the face, you want to be careful not to overwash it, because that can cause drying and cracking of the skin, which can actually lead to increased risk of infection. So about twice a day to wash your face, but again, make sure it's something that lathers up, a soap that lathers up, a face wash that lathers up. And then I like to exfoliate once a week just for fun, so that it stays glowing, but you don't have to do that for the virus.
You're so spicy and you're so cute, and you smiled on that. All right, this is interesting. I would think the answer is 2 times a day, but how often, Doc, should we be brushing our teeth?
So the answer is 2 times a day, but I'm glad you asked me about this one, because I read a study that 54% of couples actually share their toothbrush. And I was disgusted beyond words after reading this study, because it's not like kissing somebody. So just because you're in a relationship with someone does not mean that you can share a toothbrush with them, because the toothbrush is an instrument to take bacteria and viruses and other things off of your teeth. And that's not something you should be sharing with someone else. So twice a day is good to brush your teeth, but just make sure you're not sharing your toothbrush or anything else you're putting inside your mouth with someone else, even if it's a loved one.
Disgusted Pyle Coley is not a good Pyle Coley. Let's talk about mani and pedi, manicure, pedicure, hygiene, because we have a lot of people writing in about getting their nails done. My mom talks about this. What's the best way to go about getting a manicure and a pedicure?
So this is a big one, and unfortunately during the time of COVID, I do not recommend people getting stick-on nails. I don't recommend you even grow out your nails. In fact, you should be cutting your nails really tiny, because viruses and bacteria can live underneath the nail surfaces. There's also been studies that have looked at freshly painted nails versus nails that have chipped nail polish on them. And the chipped nail polish can actually create a surface where bacteria can get trapped underneath, in between the nail polish and the nail. Yeah, exactly. So if you want to paint your nails, make sure it's freshly done and keep those nails nice and short. Pedicure, you can go crazy, do whatever you want, because that's way down near your feet, not something you touch your face with, hopefully. And do this at home, because you can't go to the salon for this.
That makes sense. Speak for yourself when it comes to the feet. Before we go, it's time for Dr. Coley's silver lining. L'chaim. Today you wanted to talk about actually a new way to test for the coronavirus. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so this is a new saliva test that just got emergency approval by the FDA, and I was pretty excited to see it for a couple of reasons. The first is we've all been talking about opening up the country, and we really can't do that until we get testing more available. And a saliva test, which could potentially be done at home, is one that could make testing more available to the masses. So that's a big advance in my book. And the second is that doing the test is much more technically simple than sticking that Q-tip up your nose, and it's better for the healthcare workers who are administering the test, because they don't have to worry about getting sick and wearing PPE and all of that stuff. So I think we're moving in the right direction with this test having made it to the market, where more of us, like you and me, could end up getting a test even without having symptoms.
That is such good news. That's a win-win-win right there. Thank you, Dr. Coley. Thank you for matching your shirt to the cool new plant behind you. I so appreciated that.
I was hoping you would notice.
It's super cute. We're all happy. I love that outfit, the cowl neck. She returns.
And I was thinking this was actually like lettuce, with the leaves and.
Healthy and funny. She returns tomorrow. Thank you, Doc. And because we are honest and raw at DBL, Dr. Coley is going to talk to us tomorrow about the big sexy elephant in the room, intimacy in the bedroom during a pandemic. So if you have a question, we don't need to say your name, you want answered by the Dr. Coley, please write us in on social media. You can write us also an email at info@dailyblastlive.com. There's no panic. We're just learning. We're preventing precautions. Yeah? All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Here's a story sure to put a smile on your face. With medical masks super hard to come by, a group of friends in Montana have developed a reusable plastic mask to help our healthcare heroes. Earlier, Jeff sat down with a father-son duo. They're so smart and so innovative, Colton and Spencer Zog, to hear how their masks are making a big difference. Check out our DBL Spotlight.
Spencer and Colton, thank you so much for joining us here today on Daily Blast Live. Now, Spencer, I gotta ask you, where did this idea, very much needed idea, I should say, come up with these reusable masks?
Well, it was an idea of my friend, Dr. Dusty Richardson. He's a neurosurgeon, and he was able to write down on the receipt a picture of what he envisioned to help this mask shortage. He went into the OR, it had a sign that says, "We have such a shortage, you can only use one a week." And so he shared with us his receipt. And from there, we took a scan of Colton's face. We started designing it, printed one out. And each time you print one, it takes about 3 hours. We started on a Thursday, and by Sunday morning, early, we had what we thought was a really good result.
That's terrific. Now, you're using Colton's face. Why not call it the Colton mask? Why did you guys come up with the name, the Montana mask?
Well, this has been a movement from Montana, and we were just trying to get our communities resolved and our shortages resolved, but it really went quite big.
So Colton, you guys teamed up with the Montana-based ski gear company. Are you guys up and running right now?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're over at the company. They're incredible people, and they've been more than generous with their time. They've taken our design. They've been making thousands a day, and they've been working nonstop.
So I think this seems like a pretty simple question, but how do your masks work?
Yeah, so the point of the mask is the base of the mask is reusable. It has a small opening for a filter patch. What we suggest people do is they cut up an existing mask from a hospital, and you can cut that up into 6 pieces. So instead of using one mask for a day, you can use the mask, which you can cut into 6 pieces, and then with our mask, you can use that for 6 days. So effectively, you're having 6 times your normal supply.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Spencer, I got to ask you, you guys are doing this all out of the kindness of your heart. You're volunteering your time. Nobody's getting paid. What's going on with that? Are you guys going to try to turn this into a business, or are you just trying to help America?
We're just trying to help. The whole sole purpose of this was to help with the protective equipment shortage, the masks being the main thing. We are asking volunteers and printers, and what a marvelous amount of people who've stepped up and supplied hospitals and first responders. We've had 120,000 in the first 3 days, 4 days, downloads, over 160 countries of this mask.
So you guys aren't just helping the United States, you're helping the whole world. You guys are stepping up and doing your part. I think it's an amazing what you guys are doing. I hope we could spread the word for you. Thank you guys for doing your part, seriously, from everybody here at Daily Blast Live.
Yeah, if you want any more information, you can try the website, makethemasks.com.
All right, Spencer and Colton, thank you guys so much. We'll be right back, everybody.
Welcome back to DBL. You know the flying salad graphic. It means it's time for a DBL Health Blast sponsored by eHealth. Let's face it. It's hard not to overeat in quarantine. Let's just call it like it is. So we're all spending more time on the couch, and if you feel like you're indulging just a little too much, and I'm there with you, we have some tips to help. First off, avoid working in your bed or on the couch. Instead, try to create a little stand-up desk to encourage movement. Second, portion control. Don't snack out of that bag. Put your food in smaller bowls or plates. This helps automatically, guys. And lastly, use a meal ender to curb your appetite. So try a mint-flavored gum or mints to diminish the late-night snacking. And for affordable quality health insurance, call eHealth at 1-800-850-0679. Very quickly, I want to give my own tip to Al and Lindsay. I have a tangerine popsicle, vitamin C, cold, and it's a meal ender. What do you think about that, Al?
I think that's a meal ender for sure. That's disgusting. What I've been doing is I put out like greens out in a bowl, and I snack on those every day because I just want to reach for something. And whether it's chips or like greens in the bowl, I usually reach for the greens. So that's my tip.
So you're like a grizzly bear. That's fantastic. Thank you, Al, Lindsay. Stay safe. Reminder, we're on Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.